Okay, we are live. I realize I had my mic muted. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to be continuing on with building this texture. Also, welcome to everyone who's viewing this on demand later. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. And please stick around if you'd like to watch me work on this texture. Otherwise, there's other videos you can watch on my channel. Me and Ember do plenty of other videos. There's a great set of them called Ember's Reading Room. Those are good. Those are fun. Okay. There was something I was going. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Also, I have a Ko-fi and a Patreon if you want to help support this channel monetarily. Otherwise, just share and watch our videos. Okay. Let's get into work on this after some stretching. Yeah, stretching come out of nowhere. Blah. Ugh. Nose all of a sudden. Fun noises for people on the stream. Okay, let's see here. Does that? Okay. Okay. Let's look at the history here. Excuse me. Need to pull up a reference. What folder did I put that reference in? Yeah. I just realized as I was digging through the folders here that I have a lot of duplicates I could probably get rid of. But that will come later. Okay, let's see here. You know what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to render this out and see what it looks like in Blender. So I can get an idea of where I need to move objects around. Okay, Okay, that's exported. Let's load up Blender. Go in here and reload the image. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, just as I thought. Okay. I had a feeling some of this stuff was being flipped. Okay. Let's see. Ba-do-ba-do. Dee-dee-dee. Okay. Okay. You know, I can actually probably change this to material view, and that should work a little bit better there. Okay, so how am I going to... Let's bring this back up here. And I think the best thing I can do is do this on top of everything here. Okay. Let's make this a really bright color. Let's go here. Let's reset this. Let's have sharp corners. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to shrink this a little bit here so I can look here. Let's see. It looks to be just below that. Actually, I'm going to take this off the top view for a moment so I can... Actually, what I'm going to do is actually want to put this up here, switch over to Blender, and actually grab Blender and pull it off screen so I can look at it separately, and you guys can watch me work up here. So what I'm basically trying to do right now, for people who are watching, is I'm basically trying to set up a save zone. There's actually an easier way to do this, but I've already started working on the texture, so it's a little harder to do now. If I would have done this at the beginning and drawn an outline inside of the Blender view, I could have made that safe zone that way. But since I'm doing it after the fact, it's going to be easier just for me to create it now. Okay, so I think I like that in here, and like so. Because that should be level across in the Blender view. Okay. And I must put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, now it looks like this is actually out this way some more. Just beyond the curve, like so. This down here. Gonna need to move this up. Let's hide some objects here. Okay, there we go. Now I can clearly see things. Okay. That seems about right for that side. Let's grab this side and slide it over. Right about there? Yeah, that feels about right. Okay. Just be a little bit closer. Okay, that seems like a good test. Okay, save, export, export, save, and pop this up here. Go back to texturing, reload. Okay, almost got it. I nailed that pretty close the first time. Okay, let's see. I am broadcasting. I am sending stuff out. I am live. Over here. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure everything was running right. Okay. Pull that back up and that back up. Now, let's see here. This line needs to be... Should I just use the arrow keys and pull it up? So... that line's just there, so... I believe that's correct. Yep. I'm probably gonna have to readjust these corners out a little bit. So, and so. So, is there a shortcut key for it? Yes, there is. It's Control Alt Shift S. Jiminy crickets, that's a long one. Good thing I have a way to modify this. Okay. Okay. Just doing a little stuff here. Just setting up the control keys for I should say the shortcut keys for my device to work with um, Designer. I believe DeviantArt. Yes. Actually, it's under Affinity. Makes sense. Because the name of the program is Affinity, but the name of the company is Serif, as in the font. Okay. Okay. Do's fine. That's good. Change these around. Oh yeah. Hello, Sasami-chan. I'm sorry if my lateness to like post the notifications about this made it so you were a little late to the stream today. Yeah, you get so involved with other projects that you forget what time it is. This is why I have programs that tell me the time, as in actually tell me the time. They go, it's now this time. You have this many minutes till your set time. It's very handy for me, being time blind. Okay, and right now I'm working on making a safe zone for my lines to be inside. And I'm also working on calibrating shortcuts for Affinity Designer here to work, because the export shortcut is really freaking long. Control Alt Shift S. That's a lot. Okay. I think I'll make that one actually. That Control. What was it? Control Shift? Control Alt Shift S. Okay. Jeez. Control Alt Shift S. Wow. That is like a mouthful when it comes to shortcut keys. Okay. Hop back into Blender. Pop over to texture here. Reload. Okay, then pop back over to full view. Okay, that's just at the edge. It's actually pretty much where we want that to be. Okay. So I could do a little bit more tweaking on those. It's actually right where we want it to be, that bottom line. Give yourself extra points if your app sounds like the Pokédex. I found that pretty funny. Okay, just realized I probably want to hide the curtains here too. So scroll up until I find that's the whole wall. Let's just hide the pieces until we have just the wall itself left. Okay, so where is this little piece? Looks like I'm gonna need to get another. Looks like I'm gonna take some time off Yeah. Looks like I'm going to take some time off stream and reorganize this file again because apparently everything's everywhere. Eesh. Huh. So I have this little thing right here, which I think it's little balls at the end of the curtain rod. Ah, aha, I see it. There's the problem. Dink, dink, dink. Okay. Now, let's go back over here. Find that. There we are. Hide that. I just need to hide that rope and I can have a better, clearer view of There we go. Okay, now to read the chat room. I was here. There was 41 minutes left, so I did other things, and it took longer than 41 minutes. Ah! Gotcha. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Now, so we got the bottom one like dead on with where I want it. So now I have to do is adjust the sides a little bit more, and then I can actually get to work on basically calibrating this texture. So this is where we want it, at least vertically. Horizontally, on the other hand, I think it could be a tad bit wider. And a random thing, I recently started listening to a video of someone explaining everything about the Animorphs book series, and wow, definitely doesn't sound like my cup of tea. It's about war and stuff like that. I'm like, for kids, right? Like that surprised me. It's like when I first saw them on shelves when I was a kid, I was not really interested in them, mainly because I'm a terrible reader. But also the covers didn't really catch me. It's hard to explain. They didn't really, based on the cover and just stuff I randomly heard from my friends, I didn't sound interesting to me. But I didn't realize how dark the series actually was until I started watching this video, and I was like, whoa, okay. Wow, genocide, cool, kind of, no. Okay, let's go back to Blender here. Move this over, and that's probably a good spot. And export, save, go back to Blender, go here, went a little too far, I think. So, like, back a pixel. So, were you ever, like, interested in that series, Asami-chan? Animorphs? Yeah, that's pretty much where we want it. And I'm actually going to move it down and over one. Let's see how that looks. DD. Ah. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I just did that. So. Go back here. Reload. Back here. Could actually go one more down, I think. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. So since we're on books, what's your favorite book series right now? Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's hitting the corner just right. Okay, now let's go back over to here. Move that over. Is it over and up that I'm looking for? Over or down? Over several times and down. Okay. Let's try that and see what that looks like. Ah. Well, Animorphs and Goosebumps came out around the same time, from what I understand. Kind of an interesting period of time for younger book series, as in more targeted towards the younger demographic series. Okay, let's go back to here. Reload. Okay, that's good. I just need to move it to the right. More here. Save. Export. Gonna change on my shortcut keys here. That should make things a little bit quicker here. Okay, that was exported. That's moved over. You're talking about the book series when the reboot things. Budget can do that with manga for both you and the creators. Okay. So one more here. Save and export. Here. Yeah, nose. Okay. I think I'll stick with that for right now. Focus on the corner here. Okay. Let's go with up and over, I think. Back to here. Yep, up and over. Okay. Need to tweak that a little bit more. Over and up. Export. Most of your time's invested, I should say, in YouTube, Netflix. What do you watch the most on YouTube? Okay. We need to tweak a little bit more. Over and up. Save. Export. Okay, need to go over just a little bit more. I've got enough height. Okay. Ah. Yeah, that can happen when series bump around. Like there's this series of books I like that's I don't know if they would be considered young adult or teenager or tweenager book series. I don't know what the categories actually are. Um but I enjoyed the series. It had problems with the overall narrative, and I know why, because they were trying to crank these books out so fast. So they actually had like 5 or 6 different authors working on the project at the time. So like each book had a different author, even though it was in the same universe. And sometimes they'd write the characters, or they'd forget about a plot point that happened in a previous book. Probably because when they were writing the books, the plot point was written in later, and the other author wasn't told about it, so they didn't have a chance to incorporate it into their book. Because I have a feeling a lot of the books were being written in parallel. Ah, cool. That's some nice stuff on YouTube. Now I just exported that, right? Yep. So I just go over to Blender. It's going to need a little bit more. Okay. Save, export. Excuse me. Okay. To Blender. Reload. Okay. That's good on that. So slide my way over to whoop, that corner. Then go back over here and slide my way over to here. Now go back to Blender. Need to go over and up. Okay, and save, export. And let's pop over to Blender. Reload. Could, yep, up and right a little more. Yeah, and the name of this series I'm talking about is 31 Clues, by the way, for the book series. And it had like multiple different authors. Each book was like written by a different author, and I'm pretty sure they were all being written in parallel and weren't always kept up to date on changes in the story. So there's like weird kind of things. Also, there's like each author wrote certain characters differently. So you get into that problem where characters become slightly inconsistent. Um, and also the different styles of the authors can sometimes clash on the way they write things. They tried to keep things like very similar, but you can tell when certain writers wrote certain things, they were just not quite on the same page as some of the other authors working on the same project. It was still an enjoyable series, and you could see them actually developing the story over time and like realizing like, oh, we need to have this, or we need to make this more dramatic, or something like that. So you can tell that they were rewriting the entire core of the story as they went, instead of having the whole thing planned out and having certain core elements not change throughout the story. These core elements morphed and shifted. They didn't quite know where they were going with certain aspects of the story. Yeah, that's because of the whole like um algorithm thing. If you can keep basically if you can do something that's relevant, the algorithm really likes you. Which is kind of hard for a lot of YouTubers to be able to produce content that quickly. Okay. Did I actually export this one? Just to be on the safe side. Okay, so now all I need to do is just move it up. That should do it. I might have to move it to the right some, but that should put it in the right spot. Excuse me. I think I hit save and I forgot to hit export. Okay. There we go. We now have our safe zone. So this purple area is where I should put everything in the texture. Okay. Now let's go back to Affinity Designer and actually get to work on that. And also pull up my reference here. Okay. Yeah, what actually happened with that, from everything I read from the directors and screenwriters and stuff about like that project, is what happened is they released the first movie, which I suddenly can't remember the name of, in that trilogy, which was done by J.J. Abrams, and he worked with the writers on that one and had a plan of where he wanted to go. Then apparently Disney didn't like where that was going, changed it over to a different director for the second movie, um, The Last Jedi, and then they switched it back to J.J. Abrams for the last one. And what happened there is J.J. Abrams fit his plan for two movies into one movie, and that's what like really made those last two movies so just disjointed, is because of everything. So if they just let J.J. Abrams do his trilogy idea, the story might have actually flowed better and made more sense, and everything wouldn't feel so crammed into the last movie. Because Disney right now does not know how to handle Star Wars. This is why they like kind of pulled back on the movie projects and slowed down. Okay. Now let's get back to here. I'm going to actually lock that level because I don't want to accidentally interact with it. So let's go here and let's bring this down. Let's say it is touching the top. So that's a good spot for that. That is smaller than that. Okay. There we go. That's about right. Save and let's export. I just want to see what this looks like. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now let's go back to here and start working on, excuse me, this. So let's hide the light wood grain. And let's hide some of the others. Okay. Let's see. Move this down. So it's just below that. And we need to actually, I think this should be a little bit thinner. Let's try 15. That feels about right. Okay. Actually, let's make it 10. Yeah, Space Jam, basically Space Jam 2 just looks kind of, to me it looks a lot like we're cashing in on this idea we had. And I don't know about it. I'm like, Okay. That looks good there. Okay. So let's actually turn back on all the other lines real quick. And let's make all of these 10. Okay. And now hide all of them except for this one. Excuse me. Oop. Okay. Now. That distance on the left feels about right. That feels okay there. Okay. Grab this and pull this down. Okay, so let's start over here. That's about the right distance. Okay. Maybe pull that down a little bit more. Okay. Okay. D, 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 D. Okay, next. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're right here. Okay. Whew. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Do we have a... Yeah, that's another line there. Okay. So let me double check the thing here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You know, it might be easier just to pull this up here. Actually, let's pull this back down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. That feels about right. Let's save that, export, and see what we look like. Okay. That looks pretty good. Excuse me. Yeah, I didn't really get much into YouTube until much later because of internet connections, really. I didn't have a good enough internet connection until a certain point where I could actually watch YouTube regularly. Okay. Go back to here. be just a little bit up. Like that. So, okay. Now let's get the vertical lines in here. Okay. Okay, it's actually one more down. Yeah. That's good right there. Grab that one. And that is... that. Now I'm going to pull that down to here. There we go. Okay. There we go. We got that done. Oh. Yeah, I can get behind the whole like nostalgia, more reboots and stuff like that. I think it's mostly because like people who grew up with the older content are now more in the industry, so of course they're producing what they remembered or they wanted the show to be like or the comic to be like when they were reading it, or they were like, oh, I like this so much I want to make my own version of it to put myself into this universe, and not in the Mary Sue kind of way. Okay, there we go. Got the dark wood grain. Now let's get the light wood grain here. And it looks like I should actually group sections of light wood grain together so we can more easily work with them. Okay, that's one group. Okay, one, two. Okay. That's one group there. That's another group. That's another. That was me laughing at all the neat stuff you're talking about in the chat room. Yeah, and speaking of like sticking with formula of what works, that's like less about people coming up with formulas and sticking with it, and it's more about how YouTube's system currently works and trying to be able to live within that system, um, because it's like kind of harsh. Okay, let's see here. D. Man, all these squigglies. Psh, it's hard to break down sometimes. Okay. Okay, group. And what I should do is like hide the groups as I go along. Make it a little bit easier to see the rest of them. Okay. Okay. That's one group. That's another. And these last three are one group. Okay. That looks like it's going to be all stretch for today, because it's just past noon. And I've got things organized enough that I can start putting together the light wood grains and actually start finishing texturing up this side like this. And I might be adjusting the wall textures on the right and left hand sides a little bit to more match this angle, and playing around with how the angles work and flipping around and rotating the building. And then I think I'm going to move on to changing the lamp colors I have, because right now the lamp colors are based on a previous screenshot where they're blue, but like in almost all of the series, they're brown. So that's going to be like where I'm going to go from there. Yeah, because the lamp colors are currently based on this screenshot, and see how they're blue. But in this screenshot, they're brown. So I'm probably just going to change them to brown and leave them that way. There's probably also a way I can make it so they're brown on one side, and when you look the other direction, they're blue. um, well, like going on to the names things you just brought up before I close things down for the stream. Um, sorry for the yawning. Um, Whenever I pick a name for myself in online forums, unless it's some type of business thing where I'm like, I want this to be associated with more of the business and more of a real world me than um, anything else, I try to keep things simple, and I try to relate it back to light in some way. Like, lux is another way to say the word light. Um, ray is another way to say light, a ray of light. So I have like words in my names that usually refer to light or dark. Uh, so whenever I come up with a name for like an online forum, I try to do something like that, something based on the words either light or dark, and build off of there. Though I also have one name that like always seems to work, so I just go with that in most places, and I stick with that. Otherwise, I change it to match the website. Like Alex Knight on DeviantArt. Look, dark, black. Yeah, and that screenshot, Sweetie Belle is actually in the upper part, but you never ever yeah, you never actually see up there in the show from what I can remember, and I don't like. Wow, why don't we ever go up there? Because it's pretty much just going to be like this blue, green, purple, gray void right now. I'm probably gonna eventually like do my own custom thing up there just to give someone something to look at when they look at the model online. Hmm. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be it for the stream today. So thank you for joining me, Sasami-chan, and thank you for everyone else coming in and joining me later. It's always nice. The usual stuff. There's links down below for my art, for this channel, for Ember. If you want to help this channel and you don't want to donate money to it, share our videos, click the like button, click the subscribe button, chat below. Please be nice. But if you do feel like spending money on this channel, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi. I have a Ko-fi store now, so you can go in there and buy high quality digital copies of my art. So that's cool. Got some nice backgrounds in there. They're tiled backgrounds, so you can tell it to repeat over your background, and it's really nice. I built them that way. I also have some high quality Valentines for back when Valentine's Day was a thing. You can buy them out and use them later. Cool. I can also make custom versions of those when you buy one. Just add it in the notes, and I'll change the text for you, and I'll send you a customized version of the file that you can download. Okay, well, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. Y'all have a nice time. Have a good day, Sami-chan. Bye.